Welcome back to Spike Power Driver. My name is Anders and this is the local to global save on Total Extreme Wrestling 9. We're taking our tiny zero everything promotion all the way to the top, and we are currently in July of 1997 and ranked 10th in the world. If you are enjoying this series or if you're new to this channel, make sure you get subscribed so you don't miss future episodes. Like the video if you enjoy the content, share it with all your friends, comment down below, I'll respond to everyone, and breathe. Now let's get straight into episode. Today we are going to be looking at our big clash between Raven and RVD, which is 3 years in the making. Obviously they've had lots of clashes along the way, but this is, quote, the final time. That will be happening at our August pay-per-view Endgame in this episode. Between now and then we've got about 3, I think, TV tapings, so 6 episodes of TV and another pay-per-view to get through before we get to Endgame. And that big clash for our world title. And speaking of our titles, let's have a look at the championship situation. We've currently got our heavyweight champion of the world, Rob Van Dam. He has been champion now for 180 days, won it back in January, defeating Terry Funk after his 1 month reign, 5 week reign, and he supplanted Raven, who was champion for over a year. Then we've got our World Television Championship, which is currently held by Marcus Bagwell, who has held it for just over a month. Defeating Mark Mero back at our June pay-per-view. Mero had held it for a few months from March after beating Rhino, and there's a big gold lineage of that title as well, which we're not going to get into right now. Then we've got our tag team champions, which are Christian Cage and Samu, which is potentially an odd pairing, but they are members of Raven's Nest. We did used to have Adam Impact and Christian Cage as our tag team champions, but Impact Edge, that is, left to WCW. The Hardys won the belts interim period for a month, and we've shifted them back over to the Nest right now. We've also got a Junior Heavyweight Championship, which is currently held by Jeff Hardy. He defeated two-time champ Super Crazy. This one was part of the deal when we bought River City Wrestling back in June, I think, last year. Something around then. Maybe July or August. Who knows? Anyway, it's since... It became the Junior Heavyweight Champion of our company in August. So there you go. He's Jeff Hardy's current champion anyway. We're not really sure what to do with the Junior Division just yet, but we're trying to get people a bit more over as we go through. And then we've also got the King of Combat, which is a Battle Royal in November, which we aren't going to cover at any great length this episode because it's nowhere near November yet. Well, it's probably quite close now. It's July. Financial situation. If you are not following along every episode, this might be a bit of a change to what you're used to. But once you get on pay-per-view, you can make a lot of money. So our pay-per-view revenue is basically more than... It allowed us to double our bank balance in a month, essentially. Or not quite, but we've gone from just over $1 million to 1.7. So that's going to keep getting better. In terms of our popularity, we're at 64 now in the southeast. All the rest of the regions are slowly getting up there as well. Canada is growing really quickly. We're at the point where we're ready to upgrade our coverage for TV. We'll cover our coverage in a second properly anyway for Canada, but that deal ends soon, I think, on TSN2. Again, we'll cover the broadcasting deals in more detail in a sec. Mexico is just ticking along with a spillover from the US at the moment. We're not focusing on Mexico, but it's probably going to be the next region to tackle after we've tackled the British Isles. So we need to get Midlands up to 34 to get coverage on Eurosport, which will cover all of the UK and all of Europe. At the moment, we've just got pay-per-views on Setanta Sports, which has got good coverage in Ireland, okay coverage in the rest of the UK, and in 2 regions in Europe, the 2s that are 5 here, Eastern Europe and Eastern Central Europe as well. So that'll just kind of happen as we get to the point of getting Eurosport up there for the UK. So we're not far off getting that Midlands rank popularity up to 34, which will get us over the threshold. Japan we are not focusing on at all at the moment. Still got 6 in all regions in Japan. Oceania and India are not a focus either. So once we've got British Isles and Europe covered by Eurosport, we'll probably move to try and figure out how to do some coverage in Mexico. And speaking of said coverage, we can't look at it because we're in the PM mode at the moment, so we'll look at it after we've done the TV taping, because here we go. We're ready for TV taping, episode 123 of Unleashed, and we're just going to dive straight into it. Our opening contest is between the Hardy Brothers and the Fantastics, which are Bobby and Jackie Fulton. Either way, Matt Hardy pins Jackie Fulton after the Omega event, and the Hardys get a nice, solid victory. Match is a solid 49 to start the show, keeps the crowd nice and simmering, not too hot, but a good solid, if unspectacular start to the show. Obviously, the Hardys need to get more over, so a victory here will help them out in that regard. And then we go into a Raven promo, and he's keeping a close eye on the RVD and Mero main events. That's Mark Mero facing RVD for the world title at Immortals, which is our July pay-per-view, which is this Sunday. But he needs something to keep himself busy, so he lays out a dangerous open challenge for Immortals for someone to step up and try and knock him off his perch. That gets a 74 rating, which is very nicely done indeed for Mr. Raven. We go on to our second contest, which is an excellent one, as Perry Saturn and Samu have a great one-on-one battle that is ruined by the arrival of Christian Cage, who runs in, attacks Perry Saturn, and the match gets thrown out for a disqualification. 72 rating there, and the beatdown continues after the bell. Cage and Samu beat down Perry Saturn, but Andre the Giant approaches the ring, and the Nest make a quick exit. Looks like Andre has seen enough of that nonsense from the Nest. Obviously, he faced Raven at our last pay-per-view. Got a 58 rating for the angle. Andre's still got a little bit of juice left in him, apparently, even in 1997, so we're going to try and get a little bit out of him as well. And I've also remembered I need to change his picture, because I got a few comments saying that that is a very bad picture of Andre, and it's not very nice to see him like that. 58 though for that one. And then we got Mark Mero, who's got a match coming up in the main event, but first he signs the contract to face RVD and Immortals. Vanam then comes out, and the pair continue their "we respect each other" shtick. How long will that last with the world title on the line on Sunday? Well, RVD again struggling without a script, but we get a 66, which is not too bad. And the main event is an excellent one, as Mark Mero defeats the Kid with a TKO in just under 10 minutes. Obviously, Sean Waltman, X-Pac, is struggling with his stamina these days. His neck is basically in pieces, and at 24 he's already a shell. He's probably not got much more stamina than Andre at 51. But still, a 77 main event is an excellent way to close the show, and we get a 73 rating overall. Show increased in 17 regions and would have gained in the other one in Canada if our coverage was bigger on the broadcasting for the TV. Right, that is there. We start with Raven and Jeff Hardy getting into a bit of a heated argument between shows, but that's fine. We'll go into the second taping, which technically airs after our pay-per-view, but we'll do that one soon. Okay then, episode 124 is here, and now we go straight into things. 3,100 in attendance at the Dothan Civic Centre. Bit of a poor opener, and this is a little bit of a regretful opener. It only gets a 29, crowd disinterested off the start, which is a shame. But it's because we didn't have anyone of high enough perception, I guess. Got to work on that. Right, anyway, Taka Michinoku defeats Sean Simpson, Flamante Turbo and Negro Azteca in a four-way in the junior division. All slightly disappointing. Taka slightly higher than everyone else on the in-ring performance. 29 though. Disappointing, crowd crapping all over it to start the show. But we pull them straight back with a Terry Funk promo. He's a bit disillusioned with how recent months have panned out. He's not been able to reclaim his world title, and now he just needs a challenge in order to prove to himself that he still has what it takes inside the ring. That's an 85 for an excellent promo from Mr. Funk. Obviously, this airs after the pay-per-view. Just remember that one, because we're trying to get our TV a bit more in sync with our events. He then faces Brian Lawler in a match and beats him with a pile driver. Got great chemistry, these pair, apparently. That's nice to see. Gets a 67 for the match. Crowd still unclear, even after these two really strong segments involving Funk, not Punk, but that's really good anyway. We're a good match moving forward. We get Marcus Bagwell promo. He talks about his disdain for ugly people, specifically Joey Maggs. He doesn't understand how someone so ugly has managed to get this far in life. I mean, can't comment. 70 for Mr. Bagwell, and the match features RVD and Joey Maggs defeating Marcus Bagwell and Ice Train, as Van Dam pins Ice Train with a Van Daminator. Carry the match in terms of his in-ring performance. Everyone else a little bit lower on down the pecking order than him, but a 73 is a strong main event. Crowd still not sure about things. And then we get to our after-match promo, which builds us nicely towards Endgame, as Raven talks about his past with Rob Van Dam. This is from the first battle between Scotty the Body and Robbie V 3 years ago at Endgame in 1994. Through the various title reigns, name changes, cage matches, there's been 3 of them, at Collision Course. Both men have grown in the past 3 years, but one thing hasn't changed. Raven will always be better, and he doesn't just want to beat RVD for the world title, he wants to make it pretty concise and clear and complete and no questions asked. He wants it to be a best 2 out of 3 falls match at Endgame. Challenge laid down. I'm sure Mr. Vanam will accept things, but that will be for another TV taping in the future. Gets an 88 and closes the show out on a 74. So despite the crowd not being interested in the slightest throughout the show, we still get a really good rating, and we increase our popularity in 17 regions. From the TV taping, we've made a nice, healthy profit of $106,000. Obviously, we're going to do much more than that when we go through our pay-per-view in a couple of days and make it another nice, profitable month. Popularity-wise, yep, up everywhere apart from Alberta, which has hit the cap for very small coverage, which we'll cover in a second because we're on TSN 2 still, temporarily, for the TV tapings. We'll cover that one. We're up to 65 now in the southeast. Obviously, we've got big coverage in America. Again, cover that one in a second as we get through this loading screen. The first thing I will do is, well, I'll check my email first, but then I'll have a look at the coverage and the broadcasting deals and explain what I've been talking about in terms of broadcasting. So, well, I'll do it, but without the screen. So we've got our TV is broadcast on A&E and TSN 2 in Canada. I can go through it now. Okay, Ken Shamrock bid ends. He's gone and joined an exclusive deal with New Japan. Never mind, he was one of the potential people we were going to have face Raven in his open challenge, but obviously that has fallen through. I won't show you the other few people just in case you get excited, because they'll probably all fall through as well. So, Unleashed, which is our TV show every week, airs on A&E in the US, which has got big coverage everywhere. They're technically against wrestling, but whatever, fine. That expires in October. Currently broadcast in the late night and gets us 30% of the revenue. So when we get to October, we'll be looking to renegotiate that and maybe get a better time slot and a better percentage of the revenue, or maybe even a different network. We shall see. And we are currently airing on TSN 2 for the next month. This is only got very small coverage, which is why Alberta has hit that cap at 40. Shown in the early evenings, get 45% of the revenue, but we are moving to Headline Sports as soon as that deal ends on the 3rd of August. We'll go for another few months afterwards on Headline Sports, which is coverage in all of Canada at a medium level. Again, in the late night, 35% of the revenue this time around, but that gets us better coverage, so we're fine there. And then our events are on A&E. Well, no, we've got A&E in case we do any events we don't want to air on pay-per-view. We have Comcast, which is big pay-per-view coverage in all of the US, which is just fantastic. We've had one pay-per-view so far, but then we've also got coverage on Headline Sports in Canada, and as mentioned, Satanta Sports in the UK, Ireland, and Europe. So it's small coverage in Ireland, small coverage in the 2 random European regions, and then very small across the rest of the UK. As you can see there, that's our events currently, that's our television currently. That will obviously be bumping up to medium for Canada, and when we get to the point of getting 34 in the Midlands, we'll have good coverage across the rest of the UK and Europe as well. But that one is for later on in possibly this episode, probably the next one, as we have got to get up a few popularity points in the UK, 5 in fact. Obviously we've got a show. I say obviously, you might not be familiar. We do have a show that we run in the UK every month. This one here, All Star Wrestling, from after buying out an All Star Wrestling promotion. So we're running that one, which will be in the Midlands to try and increase that popularity a little bit. And it's to set tickets for free, and it's just like an hour-long show to just bump up some popularity. I'm not going to air that one anywhere else now because it hindered some popularity and we didn't get any money from it anyway. It's literally just to grow the Midlands, so that's what we're going to do with it there. And that will be that. We'll be back for Immortals in a second. I don't think there was anything else I wanted to show you, so let's just go forward to the pay-per-view, shall we? Alright then, into Endgame, and this is obviously our no, not Endgame, Immortals, our second ever pay-per-view. Endgame is our next one, which we're building up to at the same time. Let's just go straight into it. We're in the Memphis Pyramid. That's just ridiculous that I think we can get like nearly 20,000 people to watch one of our events, but we shall see. It's 19,093 in attendance, and we start things out with Andre the Giant and Perry Saturn facing off against the Nest, Christian Cage and Samu, for the tag team titles, and Andre pins Christian Cage with a double underhook suplex, and Andre and Perry Saturn win our tag team championships. Andre was off his game. Who really cares, though? Perry Saturn can do all the work. Christian still put in a good performance. Samu put in a good performance. And it gets a 63 for the match rating and starts to show off incredibly. And we've given Andre the tag team titles because why not? I've just realised I've made him a new photo and I've not cropped it enough. It's too far away. We'll fix that. We'll fix that at some point. Anyway, new tag team champions. Andre the Giant in 1997 is a tag team champion with Perry Saturn. Now, if any other save ever has had this happen, I will be shocked. Yeah, that was not what I was expecting for this point in the save. 63, excellent. Jeff Hardy then defeats Bobby Fulton to retain his Junior Heavyweight Championship, which was trying to get the Junior Heavyweight title a bit more over. So using a few people who probably weren't traditionally going to be involved in our Junior division. We've also, in the product, checked the box to split the roster. So if we go on a roster page, you'll see if it says they're in a Junior Heavyweight or a Heavyweight division on how they're classed. Anyway, 54 rating for the match as Jeff Hardy makes his third defense of the title. Not really sure what we're doing with that division at the moment, but some of the people in this match are part of that division as well, technically. As the Kid and Brian Lawler defeat the Simpsons, Homer and Marge, when the Kid pins Sean. Is that Homer or Marge? I'm not sure. The smaller one, I want to say, the younger one. Anyway, the Kid's kind of past his best already by 1997. Brian Lawler, again, not great in the ring either. It's kind of a bit of a middling match. This one was kind of hoping for a little bit better. The Simpsons put in what you probably would expect for them to do. So 52 is not a bad rating, all things considered. We've got better matches on the show coming up later, including this one, which sees Marcus Bagwell defeat Joey Maggs with his diving clothesline to make his second defense of the World Television Championship. Joey Maggs is obviously a slightly less cool version of Joe Kazana, essentially. I miss Joe Kazana. I miss him. I think he's still SMW World Champion. I think we can technically bring him back, but I don't think it would be the same if we did. In fact, let me know in the comments. Should we bring Joe Kazana back or not? Simple. That is the only question I want. Well, no, it's not the only question I want to answer, but that's the question I'm asking right now. Please answer it. 68, though, Bagwell with another impressive defense of the TV title. We then cut to Terry Funk, who answers Raven's open challenge and tells him that this will be the one last time for the old Funker. He doesn't care what Endgame is being advertised as. If Funk wins tonight, he's taking Raven's title shot, and nobody is crazy enough to stop him. Goes nicely off script. 75 for his promo, and that leads into a great clash between Raven and Funk. These pair always bring the business, and it gets a 79 with Raven still getting the victory with an even flow DDT to complete his side of the bargain. He'll be going to the Endgame main event. Funk won't, but we've got some plans for Funk going forward. There's a couple of comments going back and forth on the comments of the previous video, so expect Funk to be in a strange looking tag team going forward. Anyway, 79 rating for the co-main event, and then we get a promo from Wildman Mark Mero, who has so far since joining us, gosh, probably February, not even that long ago, he's just been incredible. He's been such a revelation both in ring and on the mic. He's been so good on everything. He talks about his journey so far. He hasn't been here long, but he's already accomplished so much. And tonight he could be a real wild card and win the world title and throw a spanner in the works for the massive Endgame main event. He respects RVD, but it's his time to shine the brightest. 82 for his promo. He's more consistent on the mic with Vanam as well. He's very much in the world title picture, but not tonight. Only gets a 75. I'm shocked. Vanam and Mero go pretty well, actually. 22-43. 15th defense for Vanam. Both men putting in really high in-ring performances, 78 and 77. You can't complain about that. Creative finish was a success as well, but the match only got a 75. I'm surprised. I honestly am. I was expecting that one to dip into the 80s, to be honest, but still, can't complain too much at a 75. Post-match, Raven comes out and he gets into RVD's face. The countdown to Endgame has officially begun. 3 years in the making, and it all ends on August 3rd of 1997. An 81 for the end of show segment. And we have closed out another great pay-per-view. A 76 rating for Immortals. Up in our 25 regions. We haven't gone up in one of the British regions, and that'll be the Northern England, because the coverage just isn't enough to increase our popularity there. But all in all, the lowest rating segment was a 52 on the whole card. That's just incredibly good. Let's address the locker room. Mark Mero's getting some praise because I'm really enjoying him so far. Terry Funk again brought the goods, and we'll give Andre some praise. He's just, we love him. He's awesome. Can't believe he's here. He's tag team champion now. Mero was pleased. Funk was pleased. Andre was pleased. Yeah. And we've made a load of money. Made over $1 million in pay-per-view revenue. Our pay-per-view revenue was $1 million. Ticket sales at nearly 400,000. Broadcast revenue's not much, but that's just in Canada. And we do not spend much money anymore. That is a ridiculous amount of profit for one show. Popularity-wise, up to 30 in the Midlands, which is the one we need to keep track on. Everywhere else has gone up as well. It was the north of England that's not gone up because we're already at 52, so you can't really grumble at that. Still at 5s in Eastern Central Europe and Eastern Europe, but it's not going to grow until we get on Eurosport, really, is it? And get coverage for every single show. But look, everywhere in the US and Canada went up by at least 1, if not 2 for most regions, and that's just impressive stuff. So I cannot complain in the slightest. Not doing a media scrum, though, because that will only mess things up. Right, that was Immortals. We've got some more TV to go off and tape. We've also got our All-Star show, which we're going to host next Sunday. We won't bother recording that one because it's just going to be a bit of a filler show to get some popularity up in the Midlands. So that's that, essentially. We're going to try and get that up to 31, hopefully by sort of September. So hopefully in the next video we'll be able to, it's been a long road, but hopefully in the next video we'll be able to get Eurosport coverage there. John Rambo's just having his contract extended. By the way, we're trying to sign Roddy Piper. I think he's probably going to go elsewhere. Our offer's no longer being considered seriously. He's probably going to either Fujiwara Gumi or not even bothering with UWA anymore. So it's just the one contract offer that's actually being taken seriously now. So he won't be joining us. But Goldberg is only on a handshake deal with WCW, so we're going to try and sign him and see if we can bring him in and see if he can just get over like wildfire. And see how we get on there. We've got some contract endings, some rival bid updates have gone in for Roddy Piper, so that's new. We will have a look at these contract endings off camera. Raven's opinion is that Jeff Hardy needs to learn how to sell. Okay, pay-per-view buy rate, 582,000 buys on pay-per-view, and Immortals also got watched by another 240,000 in Canada. So yeah, that's good. These 3 contracts for the junior division will get redone soon. WWF also held In Your House Canadian Stampede last night. So that's that. Damon Dallas Page defeated Ricky Morton in a cage match. Rockers retained the tag titles in the main event. European title was won by Texas Tornado. So, I mean, a bit of an odd card, honestly. Where's the big boss man and his WWF title? Who knows? But, yeah, there we go. Thanks. That was in Canada. We weren't in Canada. There we go. Thanks for that. Right, we'll be back. We've got... In fact, no, we've added an extra event. We've added an extra event. So we're going to bring Inferno back. So Inferno was a show we did in 1992 when we had too many shows. We're going to bring that one back and host it in Mexico for free. I know. I'm not sure whether we're going to do 2 shows in Mexico in 2 different regions because... Let's show you the rationale thinking behind this. So we go to broadcasting. This was, I forgot about this basically. 4TV MX, you need 40 in 2 regions. There is also another one somewhere. I don't know if it's ESPN. That's 40 in 2 regions. There's a few that are basically 2 regions to get some coverage. There's some really good ones that you need to be 15 in 2 regions, which we are, but we're not based in Mexico, so we can't get on that network, which is annoying. But I'm thinking basically just to start pumping out a few shows in Mexico, see if we can get this 16s up a little bit higher and just see how we get on. Because we're not far off from getting to the point of getting coverage in the UK and Europe. Obviously our coverage in USA and Canada is fine and growing, and we're just going to keep growing and growing until we get to the point where we need better people. Which is not far off, I don't think. So why not try and get some Mexican shows in? We've got plenty of Mexican wrestlers on the roster. I think we've already done a search here. That's this one, roster. These are the guys. So we have got a few wrestlers. Oh, we've signed Jim Nidhart, by the way. He's going to come in. Why not? So Mark Mero can basically headline the shows in Mexico. He's got some good popularity there. We've also got Super Delphine, Angel Azteca with Mexican popularity. This is just people over 40 popularity in the Mexican regions. Jim Neidhart's on there. I'm not going to make Andre wrestle in Mexico, but he's a tag champ now. So we've got enough star power basically with Mark Mero on the show to not hit any penalties. But we're not going to broadcast it anywhere. We're just going to have them in Mexico and see how we can get on. But we've got our UK show in 6 days. The next TV taping, which is when you'll be back in 11, as we go towards Endgame. We'll do the UK shows. We'll do the Mexican ones off camera as well. See how we get on. Right, see you in a sec for more Unleashed. Alright then, we are back and we are going to mix things up with our Unleashed taping. We're going to tape 3 episodes of Unleashed because that will get us to the Unleashed that's literally the go-home show for Endgame, and then the taping after Endgame we'll do 2, probably. It depends how many weeks we've got until the next pay-per-view. We're going to mix it up, 2 or 3, every time we do a TV taping. Just so we can get the pay-per-view cycle back in line. Right, episode 125. A milestone, potentially? Who knows? Let's go for it. It's in the southeast, in a generic venue, because apparently there's no venues that are about the size we need it to be tonight. So we start with RVD, who tells Raven that he should bring the rest of the nest with him tonight and get ready for a 6-man tag. Vanam has been talking to the new tag team champions, Andre the Giant and Perry Saturn, and they've got a score to settle with the nest, and there's only one way to do it, inside the ring. Gets the show off to a lovely, strong start. RVD doesn't have any struggles tonight, 71. Hopefully that will continue if he's got more promos in the later episodes. We then go to Angeles Teca getting a nice victory over Bobby Fulton with a Hurricane Rana in 10 minutes. A lovely victory there for him. Gets a 50 rating, and we don't get pinged for any issues with having nobody who's important enough. I think that's because Bobby Fulton's technically recognisable rather than unimportant. It's an issue we're having with a lot of our junior division right now, but we'll get there. We then come to see Terry Funk, who has come to the realisation that he might not be cut out for the world title anymore, but he still wants some gold, so he's willing to set his sights on the tag titles and has taken youngster Van Hammer under his wing in this pursuit. Now this one gets a little disappointing 55 because we've got Van Hammer on screen. If it was just a Terry Funk promo, it would have got much, much higher. Probably in the 70s, maybe 80s. But never mind. They then have a tag team match, and as noted by one of the comments in the last video, from a previous video, it was from a couple of months ago anyway, in game, Funk and Van Hammer have got excellent chemistry, so why not do them as a tag team and see how we can do it. See if we can get Van Hammer over a little bit. Anyway, Funk and Van Hammer, currently unnamed because, you know, defeated the Texas Outlaws, Shanghai Pierce and Texas. And yes, they still are on the roster. I know, I'd forgot as well. That's the Godwins, by the way. Funk with the power driver because we had a creative finish for Funk winning. And we used it and it worked. 67, good match. Moving on to a Raven promo who tells RVD that the clock is ticking on his reign. He had a good run, but it's time to let a real champion take over now. Little Robbie V needs to realise that it is a big boys table and things happen under Raven's rules up here. And it gets an 89, and that leads us into tonight's main event, which only gets a 70, but it's a still good strong 70 because it's a 6-man tag with Andre the Giant in it, so you can't really complain. The Nest, however, get the victory as Raven pins Perry Saturn, old rivals there. Andre off his game, but I think he's always off his game because, well, it's Andre the Giant in 1997. He's actually dead in the real world, so he's going to be off his game at 51. That's just unavoidable. But we'll give him a nice little tag team title run anyway. Raven creative finish is successful, and we get a 70 overall. Van Dam, as you'd expect, top performer in the ring. Andre at 46 is still there, not too far off Christian to be honest, but everyone else in the 60s and 70s. Finish the show there, and we get a 71 rating overall. One region in Canada, limited due to the coverage that we've got there still, but 17 other regions get a nice popularity increase. Apparently Super Delphine and Perry Saturn got into an argument backstage. Well, good for them, I guess. Let's go into night taping number 2 of the night, and I can't think it's this one we go with next. Yes, so we go here with the RVD Samu main event we're going to have, and then we've got a few other matches that we are putting on, which is leading to a TV title match at Endgame as well. So it's not going to be Lance Storm and Steven Regal, unfortunately, but they are the match, the opponents for the 2 matches of who it's going to be. But we'll get into that as we get into episode number 126. Raven starts the show. And he's starting the mind games up again. He's talking in riddles, essentially, about how the Nest may be a safe haven for RVD, as he's travelled down this road before. But maybe it's just a trap, as always, and he'll feel so comfortable that Samu will destroy him tonight, and then Endgame will be a bit of a formality. Gets an 8-2 to start the show, which is nice, and we move into a Patriot against Steven Regal match, and they've got great chemistry, which is nice to see. The match itself gets a 62, Regal putting in a shift. but he's not getting over and he's got no momentum, so we're just going to keep ticking it by. The Patriot gets the victory in 10 minutes with a Patriot missile, and he will be facing Marcus Bagwell at Endgame. And Bagwell comes out afterwards and claims to know all about this former tag team partner of his, the Patriot. More than happy to face him for the TV title because he knows exactly how to win. Because, of course, these were in Stars and Stripes in WCW 67, even though he struggled when going off script. The match, though, a little bit of a letdown as Lance Storm doesn't quite have enough and Bagwell is off his game. But Bagwell does get the victory with a diving clothesline to make his 4th defense of the TV title. Gets a 59 rating, just a little bit lower than it hoped. And then RVD comes out and he struggles this time without a script, even though we nailed it earlier. But never mind, we might have to start giving him a script. Just get Dutch Mantel to write it for him. RVD knows all the tricks that Raven has up his sleeve. He's fallen for them in the past, but now he just sees his match tonight against Samu as a chance to get his reps in. He respects Samu's ability, but he is laser focused on Endgame, and that is our main event. And it gets an 81 because, of course, these pair put in a great performance. Vanam can work with anyone. Samu's a really, really good solid hand. Always gets in the low 60s, mid 60s sometimes, high 50s. And with Vanam as his dance partner, that gets a great rating. Obviously, Vanam gets his 16th defense of the world title. And we get an 81 to close out the show. Gives us a 77 overall. These TV tapings, I mean, they're short, fast, hour-long shows. Only 3 matches, but they all get great ratings at the moment. Nothing to complain about locker room-wise before the 3rd and final taping, which is a bit odd to just do 3. But that is that. We've got... I think we're going to go with a Mero main event against Todd Champion. I'm expecting this one to be a little bit not as good, basically. We're not going to have. We're going to open things with Super Crazy and Jackie Fulton because we've got Goldberg debuting. I'm not sure if we mentioned that earlier. Did I mention that earlier? We did. I did mention that we were trying to sign him, but let's go for it. Why not? Let's go for it. We start out with Super Crazy and Jackie Fulton putting a decent performance. 45. Crowd simmering a little bit. Not too bad. Not too bad. But Super Crazy gets a nice victory. Just because, why not? 45's good. Both men got a 41 with their in-ring performance. We then go to Perry, Saturn and Terry Funk, who have been partners before, and Perry's very underwhelming here and struggled with that script, which is a shame compared to Terry Funk. But they've been partners before, but on Sunday they'll be on opposite sides as Funk and his protege Van Hammer will be part of a 4-way tag team title match against Saturn and Andre the Giant as they defend their titles. Saturn and Funk shake hands and show their respect, but anything can happen with 8 men in the match. And that's a bit of a shame. Funk, again, could have got a better promo on his own. We then have Goldberg beat Alex Porto with a jackhammer. I mean, he got 29 for his in-ring performance. Not too bad. We're going to try and build him up, see if we can get there. He starts with about 13 popularity after a couple of matches in WCW. So let's see how we get on. 38, not bad. Didn't hamper the show too much by being in the middle here. And we get back right onto things with Mark Mero because he isn't sure what his future's going to hold. And he's not even sure what Endgame's got in store for him. But he does know that the Wild Man will make the most of any opportunity, even though I can't spell opportunity, apparently, given to him, and he vows to have a title around his waist again soon, whether it's a TV title, the world title, the tag titles. I think he's too big for the junior heavyweight title, but still, we'll do something with him. He's great at the moment, so there we go. And he gets a match out of Todd Champion as well, a 75 rated match. They've got good chemistry, apparently. I don't know whether we've had them face before and seen that note, because that rings a bell. But anyway, Mero gets a 72. Champion with a 52 is enough for a main event of 75. Can't really complain. And Van Dam, again, I'm going to have to script him. I'm going to have to script Van Dam, because even well, to be fair, Raven's brought it up. Used it to his advantage. Got an 85. They exchange their final words, unless they have a segment at Endgame. But the final words to each other, face to face. Before we get to Endgame, the contract's signed. It will be the last time that Raven gets a shot at Van Dam's title. But Raven sets up with the only chance he needs. RVD might get lucky, but he won't get lucky twice in one night. Under 2 out of 3 falls, it's a gimme that Raven will leave with his world title once again. Now, obviously, Van Dam has been champion for a long time now, but Raven has always had his number when the title's on the line. And that only got 9, so 9 regions at 73. So that's because we've obviously hit the point where we are capped for the month. 114,000, 115,000 profit. Excellent stuff. Popularity, yeah, we can see. 67 now in the southeast is just ridiculous. Up to 21 in the Maritimes, 35 in Quebec and Ontario now as well. We're literally, this is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now once we get to a point where we are shifting over our TV, which I think happens after this taping to Headline Sports, because I think it's the 3rd of August, and that's the day we've got Endgame. So I think when that happens, we'll be moving on to Headline Sports for our TV taping, and we can basically just keep growing in Canada. We're very nearly there on Eurosport, and we're going to have 2 shows the next 2 nights actually in game in Mexico, and see if we can get a bit of a boost to our Mexican popularity. And then when we get to Endgame, after Endgame, we'll do a full recap of our current situation in terms of popularity across the world. But right, we're going to cut here, get to Endgame in a couple of weeks, and we'll do the big showdown between RVD and Raven. And we are finally here for Endgame, and it feels like this is a slightly shorter card than normal, but I think it's just because we've given so much time to the main event of RVD and Raven. Now, we are still doing 8 segments, so that's 3 angles and 5 matches, so I think that's probably not too far off. Maybe 1 match less than we're used to. But we've had a little foray into Mexico. We've increased our popularity in both regions by just 1, so it's a little bit... I mean, it might help. We'll keep doing it. We'll keep doing it every month. An extra 1 each month is going to be better than just the spillover from the US, so we'll keep doing that. But it's all about Endgame now, and the 2 out of 3 falls match between Raven and RVD. But we've got lots of other things on the card as well. Lots of multi-man and multi-team matches, and also a TV title match. So we get straight into things then. We are at the Thompson Bowling Arena, 21,350, which again is a record for us. We still haven't had a show outside the Southeast in the US since we had our foray in Tri-State a long, long time ago, before we even got TV. But we start things off with Mark Mero getting a victory over the Kid, Jim Nidhart, who makes his US-based debut, and Jumpin' Joey Maggs in a 4-way, with Maggs taking the Marvelocity from Mark Mero, for giving him the victory. 72 is the contest that starts the night. Mark Mero's 74 definitely carries the match in terms of performance. Nidhart in the high 40s, Kid and Maggs both in the 50s, but Mero is Mero and will do as Mero does, and he has a promo afterwards where he's going to be watching the main event very, very closely because he calls his shot right now. He wants to face the winner of RVD and Raven for the world title next month. Now, will that happen? I mean, probably, but he's calling his shot right now. 81 for his promo, which is excellently done from Mr. Mero. And we move on to a junior title match. And this one's a 3-way, including Jeff Hardy, Brian Lawler, and Flamante Turbo. And this has a creative finish, which is successful. It was a big gamble. But Jeff Hardy gets the victory, pinning Turbo with a Swanton Bomb. Makes his 4th defense of the junior heavyweight title. And that is a cracking good match. We've got Jeff Hardy over, I think, by this point. A 60 rating for the match is excellent. Everyone in the mid to 40s to mid 50s, all successful. Great. Nice to see the junior division slowly getting a bit of momentum. Now we've got Jeff Hardy as champion. We're probably going to have to drop that onto someone else to try and get them up. But we'll see how we get on. Nicely done, though, for that contest. Then we go into our slightly wild 8-person, 4-team tag team title melee as Andre the Giant and Perry Saturn defend against Terry Funk and Van Hammer. The nest of Christian Cage and Samu, and the Fantastics for some reason. Well, let's say for some reason, to eat the pin, essentially. Bobby Fulton and Jackie Fulton here, literally, in order to take the pinfall. Andre the Giant kicks Jackie Fulton in the face, and that gets them the job done. 15 minutes, 59 seconds. And it's a good victory for Andre and Perry Saturn. It's not going to be a long title reign, I'll give them that. But so far, they've made their first defense. Gets to 64, which you can't really complain about. Andre wasn't even the weakest in the match, and he wasn't off his game either. The Fultons getting performances below him, as does Van Hammer. But there we go. Andre the Giant, Perry Saturn retain the World Tag Team Championships, and we start getting into the serious business now, even though Van Dam's struggling off script again, which we need to kind of tackle at some point. He knows he needs to win tonight, or else he'll never be taken seriously again. It's all on the line for him tonight, and it's not just about the world title, it's about proving that he can beat Raven when it truly matters. Only a 62, but the match will be better. We have got another contest before that, though, as Marcus Bagwell defeats former tag team partner, the Patriots, to defend the World Television title. And this one has a creative finish that was a failure, despite it being a near certainty, but never mind. Bagwell puts in a great performance. Patriot lets the side down a little with a 49, but a 67 for the match rating is not bad. Actually, co-main event, not the second best match of the night, but Mark Mero was not in it, so there you go. we move forward to the final 2 segments. And Raven, despite struggling, going off script for a change, he never normally does, he gets a 77 for this promo where he said lots of things over the years, to RVD, to other people, to just you, me, everyone. But then so was RVD. But tonight, the talking doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the wrestling inside the ring. And Raven knows that he has Van Dam's number and will be leaving as the world champion once again. Now, let's see how the best 2 out of 3 falls match goes. And I wish we could go first fall, boom, second fall, boom, final fall. But it all happens as one. So let me talk you through what happens. We start out with Van Dam losing the first fall, even flow DDT early on in the match, maybe 7-8 minutes in, real shocker, and then he's on the back foot for the rest of it. Raven puts on the pressure, but Van Dam sneaks out the equalising fall at about the 20-minute marks, levels things up, and then the final 5, 10 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever it is great back and forth action with the Van Terminator getting the job done, and defense number 17 for Van Dam of the world title. He's finally beaten Raven when it really matters. He's pinned him. He beat him in a last man standing match, but that didn't count apparently because it wasn't a pinfall. Now he's pinned him twice in one match. Raven's got the out though because he got the first pinfall, so we will go back to this in the future, but not right now. We're going to keep them separate for a little bit and move someone else into the world title picture. And I've just noticed as well a segment rating of 85 for the match. Not quite our best, but I think that is our second best match rating in history. I think the Raven Jericho 88 from last summer beats it, and I don't think anything else does. Both men in the 70s. Raven, big stage performer, gets a 76. Van Dam at 75. Creative finish was a success. Everything ticking nicely. Closes the show. Gets us an 82 overall. We increase in 25 regions. One British region doesn't get any growth because of the limited coverage there. But that is a spectacular show. And we'll address the locker room. We'll give Mark Mero some praise once again because he is doing, well, incredibly good stuff. And then the main event will also get the praise as well because they've all performed very, very well. And they're all happy with that. Finance-wise, we have made an absolute butt ton on pay-per-view revenue once again. Ticket sales up over 400,000, the biggest gate we've had. Broadcast revenue, again, 25,000. That's just from Canada. And that basically covers the worker. The show costs have gone up, but we've made a massive profit on the night. We'll continue to make massive profits. We're probably going to be near off $1 million overall for the month. I think we're at 700 and something for last month. But we're up to 33. We only need one more show in the Midlands and we'll get onto Eurosport, so that's excellent. We've ticked up even more in the US and Canada. We're going to now be on Headline Sports for Unleashed from the next taping, so that's going to keep growing. We're going to keep growing in Alberta now as well because we've been slowing that down a bit. And we've got up to 17 in the 2 regions that we've got popularity in Mexico. We're going to keep trying to tick that over. Maybe if it's only gaining 1 a month, it gains 1 a month. That's better than nothing. It's costing us about 10, 15 grand a show. So what's 25 grand a month, really, between friends? It's not much. That's great. Okay, no media scrum because, good lord, don't do those. They are dangerous. That's the wrong picture of Andre because he looks terrible on it, but never mind, bless him. Right, that was Endgame, and that's the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed the build towards Raven and RVD's final showdown for now. Van Hammer, I think, is going to be the cover star of this thumbnail. So this episode, him and Terry Funk, I think I'm putting on the thumbnail just because they were asked for, so we've got them. They haven't won the tag titles though. Andre and Perry Saturn are still champions. Endgame has risen in importance to above average. Of course it has. It's excellent. 600 plus pay-per-view buys. A further 260,000 watching it in Canada makes it pretty much, I think, the biggest viewed pay-per-view we've got. Let's have a look though. Endgame is our top event, an 82, which was, you know, you can't grumble. Ending the episode on the best event ever is certainly a good way to go out. It's the third best match we've had because I forgot the Raven Rey Mysterio match from last year's Endgame got an 86, but an 85 is still very much up there. Biggest attendance, biggest buy rate. Not the biggest TV rating, obviously, because it's only on in Canada, but still up there, 19th, sorry. And total viewership, it is the most viewed pay-per-view, just behind all the TV tapings since May. So there we go. Well, since April, sorry. There we go. That is excellent stuff. We are doing good business now. Events obviously are not quite covered in Europe and the UK yet. Television's not anywhere, but the big and medium coverage in the US and Canada is here to stay. We will have a quick look. We're not going to get anywhere near that anytime soon, but we'll try. We'll try and get there. Let's have a quick look if there is coverage in Canada that's bigger than medium. Coverage type big, anything? RDS now. Only in Quebec though, so we won't worry about that too much. Anything in the US that we can get that's still Nickelodeon technically on TV? We don't have anything. What about in very big? I'm guessing there's nothing we can get into there. What about if we... what do we requirements here? 71 in 9 regions, big. CBS, 71 in 9 regions, and big. What about that? We'll just look at them all. We just need the music requirements. 70 in 10 regions, 71 in 6 regions. Fox is 85 in 5. I mean, we could eventually get on some of these. 65 in 6, not too far away, really, is it? For MTV. NBC would be huge. 74 in 10. TBS, we won't be able to get on that. Because of the WCW link and Ubiquity. What's Ubiquity? 60 in 5. I mean, we're not too far away from some of those. 60 in 2 now. Maybe if Ubiquity is a cable-based pay-per-view, very big coverage. Maybe somewhere we go to in the not-too-distant future. We do need licensed music, but we can afford that these days. Right, what about medium in Canada? Just to see, whilst we're here, we might as well see if we can get on any of these things. Didn't mean the 53 in 4 again. Some of these aren't too far away. 55 in 4 and being big. 71 in 9 is ridiculous. Oh, that's CBS, isn't it? What about City TV? 41 in 2. We're not far off that, but I don't think that covers the Maritimes. So what about CMT? Yeah. There's lots of potentials. Anyway, how far are we off getting Eurosport? That's what I want to know. It's 34, I think. So yeah, 34 in 2. We are at 33, I think, in that second region now. Yeah, so we will be there in a few weeks. If we just go to coverage in the British Isles, I don't think we are close to anything really. Channel 4 might be 40 and 1. We need to be based in the UK. Channel 5 doesn't get anywhere close. What about ITV? 48 and 2. We aren't far off that, Once we get onto Eurosport, we probably won't be too far away from some of these. Obviously, we're already on Satanta. Sky Box Office needs 65 and 6. That's a long way off. Sky Sports 2, 40 and 5. Again, once we get on Eurosport, that's not going to be too far away. Anyway, right. We'll end with our view of our champions. Jeff Hardy's still junior champion. World champion is still RVD. Tag champs are Andre and Perry. And Marcus Bagwell is the television champion. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you like the video. Share it with your friends. Comment on it. I will comment back. Check out the Patreon if you're interested in joining that. Once again, thank you to everyone who's a member of Patreon. Your name should be on screen right now. As a big thank you to you. You can download the save games from this save and the WCW 2000 save as well. Right, thanks a lot for watching. We'll be back on Wednesday, hopefully, if the schedule continues to run as it should. And if not, I'll be on Thursday. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I will catch you next week. There's Nitro on Monday as well. Stay tuned. See you then.